So, have you ever felt completely overwhelmed by, extreme financial advice online?
Oh, constantly. It's everywhere.
Right. Like there's always someone telling you that you need to go just all in on the latest investment trend if you ever actually want to achieve financial freedom.
Yeah, the pressure to just constantly optimize is intense.
Exactly. And that is exactly what we are getting into today. We are doing a deep dive into this fascinating set of notes that explores a framework called the four layers of financial resilience.
hmm It's a really interesting approach.
It really is. And our mission today is to help you step back from all that information overload. We want to understand a simple, step-by-step foundation for your finances.
Right, because the goal of this deep dive is to show how prioritizing, well, breathing room and resilience is actually way more powerful than aggressively chasing wealth.
Yes, exactly. But before we can even build that strong foundation, the notes say we have to clear away some bad habits.
Yeah, specifically that toxic mindset, this illusion that aggressive investing equals financial health.
Yep.
The author of our sources breaks down why the all-in mentality is so dangerous. And that's whether it's full investment, full stock, full cash, or even full gold.
Wait, so the danger isn't the specific asset class itself?
No, not at all. The real danger is the lack of flexibility. Real life just isn't as simple as investment theory. We have daily needs, we have to help our families. We face totally unexpected emergencies.
Yeah, life gets messy.
Exactly. And we have to maintain our mental stability through all of that.
Well,
So healthy finances aren't the ones that are the most aggressive, they're the ones that are the most resistant to pressure.
okay, I hear that, but let me push back slightly. Because going all in is so often sold as literally the only way to get rich quickly,
Oh,
right?
sure, it's a very popular narrative.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going all in, aren't you just sort of guaranteeing mediocre returns? Going all in is kind of like, it's like driving a race car with no brakes.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Like it looks great on a perfectly straight track, but real life is just full of potholes and sharp turns.
That analogy is spot on. Because mathematically, taking massive concentrated risk is indeed how a very small fraction of people strike it rich.
Right, the lucky ones.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But we suffer from massive survivorship bias. We only ever see the guy who went all in on some leveraged real estate deal and made millions.
And we don't see the failures
Right. We never see the thousands of people who use that exact same all-in strategy, hit a sudden market correction, and just lost everything.
because they had no buffer at all.
Yeah, exactly. The fundamental flaw in the all-in mentality is that it assumes real life operates like a pristine financial model. But a spreadsheet doesn't experience a sudden medical emergency.
No, it definitely doesn't.
It doesn't have a family member who urgently needs financial help.
Hmm.
So if we aren't going all in on aggressive investments, where do we actually start?
Right. Which brings us to layer one of the framework. And the very first step is completely rethinking the concept of the emergency fund.
Yes. Because standard personal finance rules tell us to just, calculate 3 to 6 months of living expenses, put it in a savings account, and never touch it.
Right. Just a number on a screen.
But the author explains that an emergency fund isn't just about hitting a specific nominal number in a bank account. It is entirely about access.
Access, like literally getting your hands on it.
Exactly. How fast can you actually get it? What form is it stored in? And most importantly, is it safe during abnormal conditions?
Because an emergency is, by definition, an abnormal condition.
Right. And the source material details the strategy of dividing liquidity so you don't rely on just one system.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice?
It means keeping physical cash, keeping some local currency savings in a brick-and-mortar bank, holding foreign currency, and maybe other easily liquidated assets.
Oh, wow. So you're really spreading it out. It's kind of like, think of an emergency fund like a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter how big your fire extinguisher is if it's locked inside a safe when the fire actually starts.
That is exactly the issue with purely digital wealth.
Right. I mean, it really makes you ask a probing question. If the banking system goes down for a day, does a purely digital emergency fund even exist?
Well, practically speaking, no, it doesn't. And that's why layer one is all about securing that immediate access to physical cash and diversified liquidity.
Okay, so once you have that immediate access secured, how do you structure the rest of your financial life to withstand bigger long-term shocks?
That's when we move up the pyramid. The source outlines the next three layers. So after liquidity comes layer two, which is stability.
Stability. And what defines stability here?
It's all about achieving a healthy cash flow and keeping your expenses controlled. basically making sure you have more coming in than going out.
Right, so you aren't bleeding dry.
Exactly. And once you have that stable cash flow, you move to layer 3, which is value protection.
Value protection, like protecting against inflation.
Yes, mostly inflation and currency devaluation. The framework suggests using assets like gold and foreign exchange to guard your wealth.
Oh, interesting. So gold isn't about getting rich, it's about holding value.
Exactly. It's a defensive move.
Uh,
And then, only after you have liquidity, stability, and value protection, do you finally get to layer 4, which is growth.
layer 4. This is the fun part for most people, right?
This is where you finally invest in stocks, ETFs, and productive assets. But the expert emphasizes a core quote from the text. Financial resilience is built in layers, not all at once.
Built-in layers, not all at once. That makes so much sense because building out of order is a frequent, critical mistake people make.
Oh, it's probably the most common mistake. People jump straight to layer 4 because they want the returns.
It's basically an architectural thing. You can't build the penthouse suite, your stocks and your ETFs, without a solid foundation of liquidity and stability underneath it.
Right. Otherwise, the whole building crumbles at the very first earthquake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you lose your job and you don't have layer 1 or 2, you have to sell your layer 4 assets just to buy groceries.
And you'll probably be selling them at a loss because the market is down at the same time you lost your job.
Oh man, that is brutal. So what is the ultimate goal here? Like, what is the psychological payoff for meticulously building these 4 layers?
Well, this is where we transition from the pure mechanics of money to the mindset it unlocks, because the sources really redefine how we should view emergency funds and cash flow.
Because usually people just call it idle money, right? Like it's just sitting there doing nothing.
Right. Modern finance tells us that idle money is lazy. But the author argues they are not just idle money sitting uselessly in an account. They are vital survival tools.
Okay, survival tools. Tell me more about that.
Having sufficient liquidity, controlled expenses, and healthy reserves gives you this incredibly valuable breathing room.
Breathing room. I like that.
It gives you the space to actually think during hard times. It allows you to make rational decisions rather than panic-driven ones.
So you aren't just reacting purely out of fear.
Exactly. When you don't have a buffer, your brain goes into survival mode. But with these layers in place, your prefrontal cortex stays online. The author argues that this state of calm is really the truest, most tangible form of financial freedom.
Wow, that really changes the perspective on idle money because, there's this modern obsession that every single dollar must constantly be working for you.
Yeah, the whole hustle culture applied to every penny you own.
Right. But can you expand on that a bit? Like the idea that the cost of having idle money, losing a tiny bit to inflation, is really just the price you pay for a good night's sleep and mental clarity.
That's exactly how you should look at it. You aren't losing money to inflation. You are spending that money to purchase panic prevention.
Oh, I love that. Panic prevention.
Right. You are buying the ability to not lose your mind when a crisis hits. Because making a panicked, terrible financial decision will cost you way more than a few percentage points of inflation.
Oh, easily. Selling your house cheap or taking out a horrible payday loan because you're desperate?
Yes. The ROI on panic prevention is effectively infinite.
That is just such a powerful shift in perspective. So, to recap the main takeaways for you listening, resilience beats aggressiveness every single time.
Every time.
You really need to build your financial life in layers. Start with liquidity, then stability, then value protection, and finally, growth. And remember, diversify not just your investments, but your actual access to your money.
Yeah, access is everything in a real-world crisis.
It really is. And to close this out, I want to leave you with the final lingering question to ponder on your own.
Yeah, consider your own financial setup right now. Just think about it. If a localized emergency happened tomorrow and all internet and digital payment systems went down for an entire week, how resilient would your layers actually be?
That is a scary thought.
It is. Are you truly financially resilient or just digitally comfortable?
Wow. Financially resilient or just digitally comfortable? That's a huge difference.
Well, that's all for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.